Guys, in this training, we're going to be going through an environment and food traffic light assessment, a very, very simple tool that you can use in order to leverage your environment for more favourable outcomes for yourself. Okay, whether you like it or not, having an environment conducive towards your goals is going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. Likewise, if your environment is not conducive towards your goals and you're constantly feeling like you're pushing shit uphill, it's not going to work. Eventually, you're going to break. Your willpower is going to dissipate, and you're going to slip back into old habits and behaviours. Okay, so this is adapted from Precision Nutrition, who was from Dr. John Berardi, who was the very first nutritional training or formal qualification that I did, and he has a first law, and to paraphrase that, if a food is in your house or in your possession, eventually you're going to eat it. So willpower, discipline, whatever you want to say, it's not going to last. It's so much easier to just set your environment up so that it's conducive towards your goals and your success improves just by being in a better environment. So how you want to look at it: green, amber or yellow and red, okay, in terms of a food assessment. So green light foods, foods that are aligned, 100% aligned with your goals, okay? So minimally processed, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, all the good stuff that we kind of know 80% of our diet should be made up of. Identify the green light foods in your kitchen. What additional green light foods could you bring into the kitchen, or could you bring into the fridge, or your general environment, and how could you make them how could you proactively make them more visible, more on show, more readily accessible? Have a fruit bowl just sitting out there on the table. I'm feeling snacky, cool, I'm going to just go and grab an apple or a yogurt, or rather than go into the cupboard and have some biscuits, crisps, chocolates, things like that. Okay. Then we have yellow light foods, foods to kind of approach with caution. So this is where I would say, the other 20% of your diet should consist of this. This could be anything. This is your discretionary calories. This is your flexible calories. These are the things that you enjoy, your little sweet treats and things like that, but things that you can enjoy in moderation. A couple of glasses of wine, some chocolate, some ice cream, whatever it is, and this is going to be different from person to person. Me personally, I don't have like normal chocolate in the house. If I have normal chocolate, I turn into like a savage beast for like anything snacky after that. But dark chocolate, I can have it. It just kind of scratches that itch a little bit of having a little bit of sweetness, and I'm not going to overconsume it. So, normal chocolate for me, dairy chocolate is like a red light food. So I just don't have that in the environment. Not to say that I don't and I never eat it, but I just don't have it at home because I know that I can't have it in a controlled manner. So rather than just saying, oh, I should be able to control myself or whatever, like at the end of the day, whether I should or I shouldn't, I can't at this moment in time. So rather than beating myself up about it every time that I try to control myself and don't, I could just remove it from the environment altogether, and then my likelihood of success just goes through the roof because of that. Okay, so we look at the yellow light foods in the environment, and we say, how accessible are they, and could we strategically reduce their accessibility or manage the portions a little bit more effectively. Okay, at the end of the day, we want to make the things that are aligned with our goals, reduce as many barriers for entry to get our hands on those things, and maybe the things that are discretionary type stuff, maybe just add some barriers for entry there as well, and that way our likelihood of success is going to increase quite substantially. Okay, then we've got red light foods. Okay, foods that trigger overeating, that leave you feeling pretty shoddy after it, and things that are actively going to hinder your goals, the things that are pulling you in the wrong direction, that aren't aligned with the person you want to be or the direction that you want to head in, remove them. It's as simple as that. You just have to remove them from the environment. I'm not saying you can't have these things. I'm not saying I never eat chocolate. I never eat normal chocolate. I just don't have it in the house. You know what I mean? And if I don't have it in the house, I don't even think about it, because I can just have, like, I could have ice cream, which would be caloric wise would be probably very similar to chocolate. But it doesn't. Me having ice cream doesn't cause the same effect as me having chocolate. So it's just replacing one thing with another. So replacing a red light food with a yellow light food, like something that's still a little treat, or still some discretionary or flexible calories. It doesn't make me feel like I'm super restricted, but doesn't cause the negative overeating or binging that kind of comes with those red light foods. You can try and use willpower. You can try and fight against your body's natural reaction to foods. Ultimately, that is, you're on a hiding to nothing with that. That is not a great strategy, and it's not a long term strategy, and it's not going to supply you with long term success. I've seen this many times. I can speak from my own experience, and I can speak from experience with clients. Okay, if there's things that cause you to overeat or binge or whatever it is, just remove them. Simple as that. Then we look at like our kitchen equipment and organisation. You know, what do you have on hand to make your life easier to meal prep? A slow cooker is essential, I think, like for how easy it is to knock together, you know, 10 meals worth of food. You know, you chuck it in, come back 7 hours later, and you've got like 10 meals worth of food for the week kind of thing. Yeah, a slow cooker is a must for me. But whatever this is for you, you know, the things that you genuinely enjoy, the things to promote more cooking at home in general, you know, if you've got the tools there to use, you're going to use them, or it's going to be much easier for you to use them. Things like blenders, NutriBullets, you make smoothies and stuff like that with, you know, really handy as well. So, you know, you can go through this list here, making sure you've got, you know, pots, pans, all the stuff that you need to just cook from home. And do your own meal prep, okay? And then just assess, you know, your system, the current organisation of your, you know, if you've got a slow cooker and it's tucked away at the back of the cupboard and you forget you've even got it, you know, just more awareness around those types of things as well. And, you know, assess yourself from a 1 to 10, you know, 1 being utter chaos, and 10 being a Martha Stewart type oasis. And then, you know, just look to try and improve that environment. So in terms of a meal prep system, do you have a system? You know, mine's is a Sunday afternoon, an hour and a half, I can meal prep for the week, or I'll take the kids out and Ashley will meal prep for the week, or vice versa. Very simple. We shop according to the meal prep, and then we meal prep according to how we had planned out for the week. So just taking, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour maximum to go onto the app. There's 800 odd recipes on the app, perfectly aligned with where 99% of people are trying to get to. Pick some meals, pick the ingredients, add it to your shopping list, shop for that, and then prep for that. And again, it's going to be much easier. And then if you don't have a system, where can you try and implement a system? You have time. We all have time. Unplug your TV for a week, if you feel like you don't have time, okay, and put timers on the apps on your phone if you feel like you don't have time, and you'll soon find that we all have time, all right? A system for shopping and stocking as well. Like, I think that everybody should be doing online shopping. Like, if you are going to the shops and walking around, I think that is a huge waste of your time. And the online shopping, because you buy similar stuff, it saves your shopping list, and then you're just making alterations and adjustments to it every week. You know, you can set your shopping list up in 15 minutes, and then you can drive to Woolies, pick it up in maybe about another 15 minutes, and then that's you set for the week. People who just walk around the shops, one, you end up buying the shit that you don't need and spending more money, and two, it's a huge waste of your time. I would rather use that time to meal prep. You know, you might save an hour from not going shopping, use that hour to meal prep, and I think that's going to be a much better use of your time. That's just my personal reflection, and what I've seen work very well for myself and a number of clients as well. So your action plan. Where is your current environment already empowering your success? So give yourself a pat on the back for the things that you're currently doing well. In what areas might you improve the environment by inadvertently creating an obstacle to the things that could be potentially slowing down your progress, making things that are, you know, not so aligned with where you're trying to get to, adding a little barrier for entry there. What could you commit to removing from the environment? What one red light food could you commit right now to removing from the environment altogether in order to increase the likelihood of your success? And likewise, what's another green light food or system that you could implement in order to make your likelihood of success much, much higher? If you work through this worksheet and you work through this environment assessment, your success, your likelihood of success is going to go through the roof, okay? If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out.